Hey, welcome to the TV channel. Today we have the clash of the waifus. Yes, you heard me right, the clash of the waifus. We have finally the release of EX02 on our side and we can finally pay our tribute to the Mother D Reaper, my kind of waifu. Against it, of course, it will be only appropriate to pit it against the waifu for most, the Mastemon. Which is the true waifu, which we will find out today. Without further ado, let's dive right into the game itself as we do see Mother D Reaper pushing out and absorbing that searcher, and he does hardcore another searcher which is basically like a Gabumon but better, just because it does pay its tribute to the mother, and does hardcore the ADR03 which allows him to look at the top 3 to pick up a searcher as well as another D Reaper. Now in this case it does get reduced by the mother of course because the mother does care for his kids. So in this case, it's just going to be a 2-cost hardcore, which is very nice because it does memory choke the Mastemon at 1. And I must say, this deck really is not something to be underestimated because the deck Digimon doesn't have any levels, and without any levels, the cards from the Mastemon especially will not be able to deal with it, especially in the form of Mastemon and the Lucemon. So it's something that the Mastemon have to take note of in the future games. Now it's just gonna hardcore the ADR07, and thanks to their mother, it does reduce 2 costs. So it's gonna be a 4-cost hardcore. And for each actually Digisource of the searcher, you can actually plus 1k to your Digimon, so it's a 5k DP Digimon. It's gonna rest it and kill the Gatomon, and the Gatomon is dead. I must say, with the Gatomon being dead, the amount of plays that the Mastemon can have is actually very limited, and the Mother D Reaper can only keep building its board, and especially that it can just keep sucking those searches in, and that ADR07 in this case will just keep dealing with your board. So it's going to be a very huge mess to deal with, and you can only suffer in the face of the Mother D Reaper. Now that's called the ADR04, which will suck in another ADR searcher. So the idea is to really build so much Digisource under the Mother D Reaper and finally calling the Big Daddy, which we will see in the future turns. Now by using Mother D Reaper effect, of course you can reduce the card for the Jerry in the ADR01. Look at top 5 to basically put one more searcher in. The searchers always want to be under Digisource, but because of mother restriction, you can only put one searcher once per turn. But with the other of the kids, you can put as much as you can. So he does call another searcher for 1 cost once again, and using the ADR04 to put that ADR02 searcher under the Mother D Reaper. Now the magic number for the Big Daddy to come down will be 7 D Reapers. And you can see the DOA, or rather the Ultimate Sacrifice, being casted here and calling that Lucemon, and the Lucemon can't bomb anything. Man, that's an interesting sight to see, and actually honestly very living. Now because of the ADR01, he does tap it and look at top 5 once again to keep chugging in those ADR02 searches under the Mother D Reaper, and he's well fed. He does call 1 to draw 1. He does use the Mother effect this time around to put it under her. It does use the Mother D Reaper to reduce the cost of the ADR01 Jerry, making it free cost basically, and looking at top 5 to put one more ADR searcher under it. And now thanks to that multiple Digisources under the Mother D Reaper, the Pilates head can of course kill the Lucemon by just tapping itself. Man, can you imagine a common killing of your secret? That is some devastating sight to see, and we do see Oiman Zwart D coming out. And even though Zwart D came out, the Daddy is here to actually show who's boss. He does discard 7 Digisource out from the mother to reduce the cost of the Reaper to basically 0, because you can see there's 20 hard play cost on it, but now it's reduced to 0 and it's gonna start swinging. And let's not stop there, the Daddy does restand when it does swing at the end of the attack. So for every 2 searches in the drop zone, it can swing one more time. So it does translate to that this deck has the potential to OTKU. So it's very nice to see the Daddy will start swinging and thus pushing to 0, and this will be game 1. We'll be moving on to game 2, and the Mother D Reaper to start first, and he does hardcore the searcher to draw 1, and let's see that memory choke already in turn 1. And if you guys haven't already noticed, the cards in all the Mother D Reapers don't exactly have an evolution cost. So this means they can't actually evolve on top of each other. And how do they draw power? They of course use the searcher, which is always seen in the deck, because you can actually play up to 50 copies in the deck. And with that, you can actually see the deck list at the end of this video to see a rough idea of how to build the Mother D Reaper. And I must say, the whole set alone can actually build the deck already, so there's no fear on that. And you can already see the Gatomon has been ignored here, and we can't deal with it as easily as last turn because he doesn't actually give us too much memory for him to actually hardcore the Pilates head. He does actually evolve to the Mastemon because he does fear that the Angelmon will not be able to survive the next turn, and he could be right because we do see Mother Reaper having 3 Digisource already, and does hardcore the ADR01 Jerry, reduced by 3 cost thanks to the Mother, and will be just a 2 cost. It does use the skill to actually look at top 5 to put 1 Searcher under the D Reaper. And we do see him hard calling another ADR01 to pass the turn with just 2 memory to the Mastemon player. Now without a tamer requirement in the deck itself, the deck can be played quite consistently well thanks to the Mother D Reaper effect because it does reduce cost of the Digimons that you're gonna hard play anyway, and the Searcher is only 1 cost most of the time. Now the Mastemon was trying to push the security here, and we of course see the new Gatekeeper here, the ADR09 on security. It does come out, and you can actually heal 1 when you do have a Mother D Reaper in play, and it does have a devastating effect, which is if you do have 6 Digisource under your Mother D Reaper, all your opponent Digimons actually minus security attack -1. So can you imagine having that on the field is basically telling you if you don't play any sort of security attack +1, you can't deal damage against the Mother. It means you can't be bad to your Mother, and you have to respect your Mother. On a serious note, please do respect your parents because they really love you. Okay, moving on to the game itself, we do see the Searchers stacking up already, and we do have a point of total of 6 Searchers I believe, and does heal off the Mastemon with the Gatekeeper, and the ADR04 bubbles will actually kill off the Sukaimon. Man, the guy field is already wiped clean, and he's definitely not having a good time against this Mother D Reaper. Now we do see the hardcore of another Digimon here, which is the ADR08, which is the Optimizer. Why is it Optimizer? Because it does optimize the swarming of your field. It does look at your top 3 though, and it can actually call 1 Digimon with 10 play cost or less into the field, and you can do it on evolve, on call and on attack. So man, it's really optimizing the plays. Now we do see Purple Marine Boost being played here, and I must say Mastemon player don't really have much answers to that kind of board. I do believe that there are some decks that can actually do well against the Mother, but most decks, if not prepared, will suffer against it. Now we do see the Mother having like 6 Digimons on the field, although one of them can't attack, especially the Mother and the Searchers, but the rest of the Digimon can actually swing turn. It's going to use the ADR01 to just keep stacking those Searchers under the Mother because you do want to feed your Mother very well. And for each successful feeding, all your Digimons get bigger, and I mean a lot bigger because it all does +1k for each Searchers under the Mother. So can you imagine this Optimizer actually hitting for like 18k DP? So nothing, even the Paladin mode, which is the highest 16k DP Digimon released in the game, can't stop that. Now it's going to use the Optimizer to actually hardcore the Searcher there and draw 1, does it into Purple Marine Boost, so nothing, no harm done. Now the Mother D Reaper start counting his Digisource, and it's a total of 9 there, and it's gonna hardcore the Gatekeeper for just 2 costs. 2 costs and heal 1, and making your opponent Digimons minus security attack 1. Man, and with that 2 on the field, basically the Mastemon player have to have somehow 2 Angelmons in the Digisource to actually even deal 1 damage. So at this point the game is considered over, I would say, but we shall see whether he can struggle through. It's going to evolve to the Magna Angelmon on top of the Gatomon there. Sadly, no Lady Devimon because that is the card you usually want to evolve on. And it's going to swing at the ADR01 there. And it's going to further evolve on top of the Magna Angelmon to a Mastemon to actually basically heal 1 here. No Jogress happening because he doesn't have the purple Digimon, so very unfortunate for his end. But at this point, the Jogress evolution doesn't really do too much because Mastemon and Lusamon, as mentioned earlier, only target level Digimons, and those Mother D Reapers have no levels. Having no levels means they are basically invulnerable to these Mastemon and Lusamon cards, and it's gonna start swinging the Optimizer to hit to a Searcher, and that Optimizer is huge, man, huge. It does hit over the Lusamon very easily, and it's gonna hardcore the ADR04 bubbles to actually put the ADR02 Searcher into the Mother again. It looks like he's ready to discharge them and gonna be calling the Big Daddy by discharging 7 ADR02 Searchers. You can actually call the Reaper for free, and it does have Rush, so it's gonna start swinging at the security here, putting 2, and this is already gonna be a 4-0 in 1 swing. Now it's gonna swing again, does hit into a Flame Hell Scythe though, which is gonna complicate some plays, but all the Digimons are very big. thanks to the ADR02 searches. So the Flame Hand is not going to kill anything, but it's going to hardcore the Angemon to actually make the Reaper minus security attack -2. So no more rushing from the Big Daddy himself, but he does have a bunch of Digimon to start swinging at security, and this will already be game without any security to help him. And the true waifu wins. Now this is the Mother Reaper deck list you guys might be interested in with 20 searches. And on the other hand, we do have the Mastemon deck list. Thank you guys for watching till the end, and do consider subscribing, dropping a like and a comment if you guys do enjoy the content.